We lost Wayne a few years ago, and I hate that term. When somebody passes on and they say they lost him. It just sounds so irresponsible. We lost Grandpa. Remember the last place you had him? What jeans were you wearing that day? Or even worse, when somebody says they were taken. Grandpa was taken from us. Grandpa was kidnapped? What the fuck? He's with Jesus now. Oh, you know who kidnapped him. Okay. I press charges, that's for sure. I lost Wayne, and like I said, when I met Wayne, he was like 200 and something. I was 15. And, so I was already pretty much grown. So we weren't like father and son. We were more like best friends, you know. So after he passed, I did the good son and the best friend thing to do. I went home and I cleared out his hard drive, and my mom had a chance to see it. Every guy has a deal worked out with his best friend. Shit goes down, burn, everything. Okay? I know this bitch even know how to own a computer. You hear me? You hear this old flip phone. Tell her I loved her. I didn't find anything crazy. There's nothing crazy, nothing weird. He didn't search anything, you know. But he only searched one word, just the word titties. That was it. But all capital letters, so big titties. The problem was he put it in every search bar you could find. It was in the Kindle, it was in the laptop. That's why the GPS didn't work anymore. You just can't type that shit in. You know what I mean? Like destination titties. We calculated, these supposed to be some big titties. I was on the road when it happened. At the time I was touring 46 weeks a year on the road, and I had a deal worked out with my mom. I could go anywhere, I could do anything, but I had to come home for Christmas. That was her week. I had to come home for Christmas. And so I was home that year, but it was a short trip, because I was leaving the day after Christmas. And I was headed to Las Vegas for only the second time in my life. I'd ever been or played Las Vegas before. And I've been requested by Brad Garrett, who you guys all probably know and love from everybody like me. And so I get on the plane, I fly out the day after Christmas. And that morning, Wayne had a heart attack. And the next day, he had a stroke. Nobody told me about it for 4 days. I'm just in Vegas, I'm doing shows, I'm not thinking of anything, you know. And one night, after my show, I'm overlooking the Vegas Strip there, because Brad really takes care of you. You know, he puts you 30 stories high in the MGM fucking Grand. It's just a beautiful room. I'm overlooking all the riffraff and the hooker, you know. I'm like, take that, college. So then I get the phone call, you know. My mom tells me what happened. And I remember the emotion that ran over me was guilt. That was the first thing I felt. This is a man who worked his entire life in a small town in factories. He already raised one family on pretty much his own, and then he came over to my family and he helped me. He was so good with my mom and so good with me. And he's laid up in some hospital bed in Ohio, and I'm in Vegas warming up my jacuzzi tub, you know, just because I tell dick jokes to strangers. It wasn't fair. I wanted to switch places with him, you know. And so I call my mom, or I'm talking to my mom, and I go, hey, you know, I'm on the next plane out. She goes, no, that's not what I want. That's not what Wayne wants. Stay in Vegas, finish your shows. I said, okay. So I did. I didn't mention anything to Brad. I didn't mention anything to staff. Got my head down, did the shows. I got back to Ohio, and I got to see Wayne before he died. I got to see him in the hospital. He couldn't talk because of the stroke. He could only respond through hand squeezes. And so I'm talking to him through that, and then he starts squeezing my hand like he used to. And he's like, oh, you got me, Wayne. And I'm whispering in his ear, make him kiss your shoes, Wayne. Oh, you got me. That's like something out of a fucking movie. You know? A few days later, Wayne passed. And I took a week off, and I went right back on tour. And I was so mad at you. Not you. But like you. Oh, I hated you. You were out celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, and having a good night out, and all this stuff. And meanwhile, I'm on stage, just fucking broken in half. And a year later, my mom passes. And I take 2 weeks off the road and go right back on tour. And man, did I ever fucking hate you then. Oh, I was so mad at you then. You didn't know. I was back home for my mom's funeral and trying to keep it together for my grandma, you know, because my grandma's still with her. She's 93 this year, and like I said before, it's just her and mom raising me, you know, two strong, beautiful, independent women. I never saw either one of them cry, not once in my whole life. And so I'm trying to hold it together like my grandma held it together for me for so long. But I'm at my mom's funeral, and I start to tear up a little bit. My grandma sees me from across the room, and she comes running over and goes, "Let it out if it makes you feel better." Did my grandma just call me a pussy? So I go back on tour, and I don't know how to deal with the feelings. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just kind of suppressing them and ignoring them because I never had therapy before. I grew up in the Midwest. I know it goes to therapy in the Midwest. You tell somebody you're sad in the Midwest, they're like, we're all sad. Like, go back to work then. I'm going to go back to work. But I also live out here in LA, right? And when you're out here, people are like, it's okay to not be okay. You should talk to somebody. So I did. I signed up for therapy for the first time. I'd never been before. I didn't know really what it was about. I don't know if you've been or not, but it's a fucked up system, man. We hear all the time how it's broken and all this stuff, and it is. You know, first you call to make an appointment, right? You call the lady, and she's like, I have to ask you a few questions before you can see anybody. I said, okay. She goes, are you suicidal? I go, no. She goes, are you a harm to others right now? I go, no. She goes, do you have a drug or alcohol abuse problem? I go, no. She goes, why are you calling? You got me. Then you go and you get to make the appointment, right? You go for the first time and you have to fill out what I call the SAT of sadness. It's just like 200 pages of questions about your feelings. You know? All they want to know is if you're going to kill yourself. That's all the questions. Every other question is about suicide. First one right off the bat, are you suicidal? And you're like, no. And then a couple of questions later, it's like, have you thought about it? Suicide? They're like, no. And a couple more, it starts to read like an ad for suicide. They're like, it's not that hard. You want to take home a pamphlet? Think about it. Then you finally see the lady, right? You see the lady before you actually see the lady. Does that make sense? Like you see the lady before you see your doctor, and that's the first thing she wants to know. Are you suicidal? Like, I am now. How many fucking times? Answer the question. We hear how it's broken all the time. How it's broken for Army vets. How it's broken for regular citizens. How it's broken for homeless people. How it's broken for everybody. The system's all fucked up. And you don't really know until you try to participate in it. I didn't know. You hear that all the time. It took them 2.5 months to pair me up with somebody. 2.5 months before I got to talk to anybody. And I'm in there, my first time meeting her, 2.5 months. She goes, I'm not actually going to be your doctor. This is my last day here. I'm getting transferred. So just to fuck with her, I leaned in real close and I go, this is actually my last day here. You can talk about whatever you want. You know, in life, sometimes we fall down, you know, and people are so quick to tell you to get back up. You need to get back up. Get back on the horse. Get back up. I think that's fucked up. I think sometimes you have to lay there for a minute. You have to assess the damage. You have to lay in your mess. Really figure it out. Nobody tells you that. People want to judge you how quick you get back up. I don't think that's right. I think you should be judged on who you are after you're already back on your feet. The person you become after you fall down. I think that's better. Come home and clean out mom's house and touring. I'm cleaning out mom's house. I'm going on tour. Clean out the house, going on tour. Finally get it all done. And I'm standing there shoulder to shoulder with my grandma. And we're looking at this house that was once full of life and laughter and love is now barren. And out of nowhere, she just goes, empty house, empty hearts. I'm like, who the fuck are you? You can either be Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker. Choose a side, use the Force. Choose a side, use the Force. So I'm going through old notes and cards that my mom and Wayne, they passed together, back and forth. They've been almost 20 years, a true love story. I know I pull one out at random, and it's from Wayne, and I open it up, it starts singing a song. It starts going, only you. And I'm like, come on, Wayne. Not really a singing card. But I read the bottom, and he signed it. It said, after I met you, I started to believe in love again. Wayne. And the card's singing, and I'm crying, only you, Wayne. I told you all that to tell you this. If you're with somebody you love tonight, make sure they know it. Turn to them now, when you leave, and get in your Uber later, and tomorrow morning. Maybe you're going home to somebody else that you love. Make sure they know it too. You just never know what's going to happen in life. You never know when you get that chance to tell them again, Time goes on, and I got better. I realized I'm not mad at you. Without you, this would probably just be a fucking pizza place or something. Without you, I don't get to share these stories. Without you, there is no me. I don't hate you. I love you. Good night.